Welcome back to my channel. Today me and my colleague Miss Y, who refused to reveal her real name on YouTube, are going to do a drawing challenge. She calls this challenge the amateur versus pro. I call this challenge art school graduate versus rogue. Miss Y has chosen an image that she is interested in, which is the scenery of Tai O. Tai O is a very special place in Hong Kong. It is a fishing village, and the place itself retains very much of the pre-modernized environment. I've drew scenes about Tai O before, but never had I tried to imitate a particular photograph. Let's see what happened in our drawings. We both started off the drawing with a very rough sketch. I drew a few lines to give myself a good reference of proportion of the objects. In contrast, Miss Y used a black ball pen, detailedly illustrated all the objects, including the still houses, the boats, the mountains, etc. One can see that Miss Y made a few minor mistakes in building her perspective. Now this is going to give her drawing a bit of a comic style, but Miss Y claimed that this is totally her personal preference. Although we are both imitating the same photograph, we drew in different sequences. I chose to draw the darkest part of the drawing first, that is, the shadow of the still houses. I've used a warm grey W10, that is the darkest you can get with Copic markers. To me, these shadows form a skeleton of the composition. It laid out the position of all the objects and defined the contrast between itself and the lighter part of the water reflection that I will draw later on in the drawing. This way I can have a very good reference of how dark the bottom of the page can be. I want to have a maximum degree of variation of darkness across the water so that the gradation from the bottom of the page towards the houses can also be maximized. It is quite interesting to see the two of us drawing the water together at the same time. I saw the seawater of two layers. First of all, a grey tone gradation layer, and secondly, a blue color of the seawater. So when I draw, I will do one after the other. I would first draw the grey, did very good and smooth gradation of grey before I start putting on the blue. Miss Y did it differently, although she was using grey and blue at the same time, but neither of them were done for a sole purpose. So in her drawing, they were light blue first, and then grey, and then a dark blue, and then a darker grey, and then some other colors. This will make her difficult to understand what exactly she was doing at a particular spot. Photorealism requires sufficient saturation of pigment on the marker paper. Now, marker does a very good job for this, but you need to have a lot of layers building up a solid situation to depict the photorealism. Layers and layers built on top of each other in order to produce a smooth migration of pigment. For instance, in this case, I've built up a lot of layers of blue and a lot of layers of grey to make sure the gradation of the seawater is smooth. On Miss Y's drawing, insufficient layer of color produced a lot of unblended brushstroke blemish. When you are painting a large area with Copic markers, it is hard to control each stroke to stop right at the boundary of that particular area. In this case, the sky. For this reason, I have masked off the mountain before I paint the sky. Knowing that the mountain is going to be painted green, I have avoided the blue to crash with the green to produce a brown color, which is undesirable. Having the edge of the mountain masked, my blue can bang onto the edge of the mountain. Now that is very important for me because as you see, I'm building up a lot of layers on the sky. So there will be hundreds and hundreds of blue strokes touching the edge of the mountain. As a result, I will have a very clean edge of the blue sky, not touching of mixing or overlapping with the mountain, and that is important when you do a photorealism. On the other hand, you can see Miss Y did not do that trick. She has been very careful when coming to the edge where the two colors meets. However, no matter how careful she was unable to produce a very sharp cut edge of a strong color of the blue. Both the green and the blue would have to fade out a little bit before they meet each other. Now this is something that you don't find on a photograph. When it comes to detailing, Miss Y has to use a bit of time at the later stage of the drawing to redraw the details in the houses. Whereas in my case, I didn't have to do that because at the very beginning, when I'm drawing the shadows of the houses, using the warm grey tan, all the details were simultaneously done at the same time. What I have to do for detailing is to draw a layer of softer color shadow on the elevation of the houses. On top of that, I will color up some of the timber, give a bit of color to the boats, and that's about all that I have to do. The green color mountain in this drawing does not reflect or echo any other color on the houses or the sky. So the green mountains is one element by itself on this drawing. This matter makes drawing the mountain quite easy. I could just go absolutely free doing whatever I want to draw the mountains as long as I don't mix up the color with the rest of the drawing. For this reason, I think Miss Y made a minor mistake again. She used a bit of grey to do part of the mountain, and I think she would have got it better without doing such. In summary, Miss Y and I both use a similar color range of Copic markers, but with different tricks. I managed to do a few things that I think Miss Y did not do, and when looking at the result of the drawing, I tell myself that, well, in terms of photorealism, my drawing looked a bit more like the photograph than what Miss Y has done. However, when I show these two drawings to some of my friends, I must admit that quite a number of them chose Miss Y's drawing as their favorite. A lot of them said that Miss Y's drawing has a bit of a character that they like. That poses a question of why do we draw for photorealism? Shouldn't us be all drawing in the way that we want to manifest, to illustrate, to depict whatever we want to represent? That will be the topic for a debate for another day. Thank you for watching.